From the outside, the Thompson family embodied Southern perfection. Their Selma, Alabama home gleamed with fresh white paint each spring. The lawn stood manicured year-round. Every Sunday, they occupied the same third-row pew at First Baptist, where Robert Thompson served as deacon and led the men's prayer group, a decorated Iraq veteran running for city council. Robert carried himself with military precision. His wife Sarah taught English at Selma High, her past as a college feminist activist carefully tucked away beneath floral dresses and church socials. Their Thanksgiving tables stretched beneath crystal chandeliers, golden turkey steam rising between faces of extended family. Football played softly in the background as cousins passed cranberry sauce and aunts exchanged whispered gossip. Jason Thompson sat quietly, fork trembling against china. At 17, he'd just been accepted to varsity baseball and invited to prom by someone who made his heart race, someone named Thomas. The secret burned inside him like wildfire. He'd practiced the words for weeks, believing that truth, however painful, should stand in the light. As pecan pie circled the table, Jason cleared his throat. The room didn't silence immediately. His voice emerged shakily, strengthening with each word. I need to tell you all something important. I'm gay. Time crystallized. His mother's hand froze midway to her water glass. Uncle George's knife stopped scraping against ceramic. Jason's eyes found his father's face, watching the transformation from confusion to recognition to fury. Robert Thompson rose slowly, Bible verses falling from his lips like stones. The Thanksgiving tablecloth became battlefield terrain as he slammed down family heirloom Leviticus alongside mashed potatoes. Plates shattered, gravy spilled across white linen. Through it all, Sarah Thompson remained seated, eyes down, hands folded, silent as her husband's rage filled their perfect home. No son of mine chooses this abomination, Robert thundered, throwing open the front door to November cold. Get out. As Jason stood frozen, Uncle David, Robert's younger brother, slipped something into his palm without meeting his eyes. A key, an address, no words. Jason climbed the stairs while family voices argued below. He grabbed his laptop, yearbook, a handful of clothes, and a framed family photo from better days. When he descended, only Sarah stood in the foyer, eyes red-rimmed but dry. Mom, he whispered. She turned away. Outside, darkness wrapped around him like exile. The neighborhood Christmas lights blinked indifferently as he carried his fraction of belongings down the street he'd called home for 17 years. His father's final words followed him into the Alabama night. You're dead to this family. The weight of conditional love had never felt so heavy. If you've ever felt rejected for speaking your truth, or wondered if family love comes with hidden terms, subscribe to Heart Stories. We tell the stories families are too afraid to say out loud, because sometimes the greatest act of courage is simply being who you are. The address led Jason to a modern apartment complex across town, a world away from the Victorian homes of his neighborhood. Uncle David opened the door wearing sweatpants instead of his usual pressed slacks. Surprised Jason had come so quickly. The apartment told its own story. Minimalist furniture, abstract art, and photos of David with another man carefully displayed on bookshelves. Your father doesn't know I live here, David explained, showing Jason to the spare bedroom. He thinks I'm in Montgomery. The revelation unfolded slowly between them. David had lived his truth quietly for years, visiting family functions alone, maintaining the facade expected of a Thompson man. Sometimes surviving means creating distance, he said, voice edged with both regret and resolve. Jason's phone buzzed constantly with messages from classmates who'd heard rumors already spreading through Selma's gossip network. One notification stood out. Lily, his 15-year-old sister, messaging through Snapchat. I don't care what Dad says, you're still my brother. The simple words became his lifeline. Morning brought practical concerns. School seemed impossible, facing teammates, teachers who attended First Baptist, hallways filled with whispers. Instead, Jason found himself at the Southern Brew, a coffee shop near the community college where the manager, Marcus, hired him on the spot. I came back from Yale to help run my parents' place, Marcus explained. Found out real quick this town hasn't changed much. The way he said it carried understanding beyond words. Each night, Jason logged into his Christian youth group's online forum under a pseudonym, typing prayers and receiving virtual blessings from the very community that would reject him in person. The contradiction tore at him, loving a faith that seemed unable to love him back. Checking his bank account for remaining summer job savings, Jason discovered an unexplained deposit of $200. The pattern continued monthly, small amounts appearing mysteriously, never enough to track, just enough to help. Years would pass before he learned Sarah had been silently supporting him against Robert's explicit prohibition. Super Bowl Sunday arrived, traditionally sacred in the Thompson household with Robert's famous barbecue ribs and family jerseys. Jason sat alone in David's apartment watching the game, nursing memories that felt simultaneously minutes and lifetimes old. David had gone to visit a friend, leaving Jason to his grief. The familiar soundtrack of advertisements and commentary emphasized everything lost. That night, Jason wrote in his journal, "I want to build something new, but I keep looking back at what I had. How do you move forward when half of you is still waiting to go home?" The next morning, Mrs. Ramirez, Selma High's principal, called. Her voice carried the formal tone of authority, but softened around the edges. "Your mother asked me to help arrange your continued education discreetly." The Mexican-American administrator had navigated her own challenges in Selma. Sometimes the bravest thing isn't standing in the spotlight, it's continuing to walk forward when no one is watching. Through online classes and late-night study sessions between coffee shop shifts, Jason maintained his GPA. College applications took shape under Mrs. Ramirez's guidance, schools far from Alabama, places where breathing might come easier. The scholarship essay prompt asked about overcoming adversity. Jason stared at the blinking cursor for hours before writing, "I used to think love was unconditional until I learned it came with fine print. Now I'm rewriting the contract. Living authentically sometimes means walking away from those who can only love a version of you that doesn't exist. Yet even in darkness, unexpected lights appear, sometimes from strangers, sometimes from family members you never truly knew before." Graduation day arrived without fanfare. While classmates celebrated with family photos and flower bouquets, Jason received his diploma with only Mrs. Ramirez's professional nod acknowledging his achievement. The empty chairs where parents should sit created a void more noticeable than any presence. Afterward, Marcus closed the Southern Brew early for a private celebration, hanging a makeshift banner while Lily snuck away from home to bring cupcakes decorated in school colors. Their small circle felt both defiant and fragile. That evening, an email arrived from an unfamiliar address, Jackson R. 83, military.net. "You don't know me, but I served with your father in Iraq. Heard what happened through mutual friends. Robert wasn't always who he pretends to be. Ask him about Private Eli Sanders sometime." The cryptic message sat unanswered as Jason packed for Berkeley, California, his scholarship offering escape from Selma's suffocating familiarity. The cultural whiplash between Alabama and Berkeley left Jason disoriented. Confederate flags replaced by rainbow banners, Baptist hymns exchanged for protest chants. His accent marked him as an outsider in this progressive haven just as surely as his sexuality had in Selma. During orientation week, a campus LGBTQ+ rally spilled onto Telegraph Avenue. Signs bobbed above the crowd declaring, "Love is love," while counter-protesters gathered across the street. The familiar tension felt like home in all the wrong ways. That's when he noticed Michael O'Connor, red-haired, freckled, confidently navigating the crowd with an Irish flag patched with rainbow stripes. Their eyes met across protest lines. Within weeks, study sessions evolved into coffee dates and whispered conversations late into night. Michael's family had escaped conservative Dublin for San Francisco when he was 12. "Trading one kind of Catholic guilt for California freedom," he joked, though his eyes held understanding beyond humor. The parallel journeys from oppression toward liberation bound them together. Meanwhile, unseen by Jason, Ripples spread through Selma. Robert lost his church position after congregants questioned how a man who couldn't lead his own household could guide others. The city council campaign collapsed amid whispered scandal. Sarah faced silent treatment from fellow teachers who'd once welcomed her. Their perfect facade crumbled under truth's weight. During sophomore year, Jason created Southern Rainbow, a blog chronicling his experience as a gay man from Alabama navigating dual identities. What began as personal therapy unexpectedly found audience. Media requests trickled in. LGBTQ+ youth from rural communities reached out with their stories, seeing themselves reflected in his words. Success arrived with the speaking engagements and advocacy opportunities, yet each achievement amplified a persistent guilt. While Jason built new purpose from rejection's ashes, his family suffered consequences of his truth. Lily's Snapchat updates became less frequent, more guarded. Dad's drinking more, mom's working extra shifts, people still talk. The distance between siblings stretched beyond geography into territory neither knew how to navigate. Late one night after finishing a particularly successful blog post, Jason found himself sobbing unexpectedly. Michael held him as words poured out. What right do I have to thrive when I've destroyed them? The question had no easy answer. His psychology professor suggested volunteer work with LGBTQ+ youth, channeling guilt toward purpose. Each Thursday, Jason counseled teenagers facing family rejection. Their stories mirrored his own. Yet offering guidance proved easier than following it. Forgive yourself first, he advised one boy, words he struggled to apply to his own reflection. Senior year brought another unexpected email, this time from Uncle David. Your father had a breakdown at church last Sunday, stood up during prayer requests and asked for guidance about his son. First time he's acknowledged you in years. Something's changing. Jason, not everything, but something. The message reopened wounds Jason had carefully bandaged with distance and achievement. Psychology training taught him that healing requires facing the source of trauma, yet theory simplified the complex reality of family wounds. Berkeley graduation loomed with graduate school acceptance and Michael's whispered proposal. The future beckoned brightly ahead while the past remained unresolved behind. True strength often lies not in escaping our origins, but in facing them on our own terms. For some, reconciliation means returning to where we were broken, not to reassemble old pieces, but to understand how they shaped who we've become. 10 years transformed Jason from wounded son to respected psychologist specializing in family trauma at San Francisco's LGBTQ+ Community Health Center. His office walls displayed framed degrees alongside a simple photo, Jason and Michael at their wedding, rings catching California sunlight. His Southern accent had softened but emerged during therapy sessions with clients from conservative backgrounds, an intentional bridge across divides he understood intimately. The call came during Tuesday afternoon appointments. Lily's voice sounded different, more assured from years of medical training, yet fragile with news she struggled to deliver. Dad had a stroke last night. Major. He's stable, but... Her voice trailed off. Mom's asking for you. The unspoken decade of silence hung between them. Michael packed their suitcase while Jason sat motionless, staring at their bay window view. You don't have to go, Michael reminded him, though both knew the decision had already formed. Some journeys become inevitable. Regardless of their cost, Selma had changed yet remained eerily familiar. Main Street featured new businesses alongside storefronts Jason remembered from childhood. First Baptist steeple still dominated the skyline, though a rainbow flag now hung outside the Methodist church down the block, unimaginable 10 years earlier. The hospital corridors smelled of antiseptic and artificial pine. At the nurse's station, a young attendant checked visitor records. Family only for Mr. Thompson, she stated, eyeing Jason suspiciously. Before he could respond, Sarah appeared, hair grayed, face lined by years Jason hadn't witnessed. Without words, she embraced him. The shock of her welcome left him speechless. Your father doesn't know you're coming, she whispered, leading him toward room 412. He might not recognize anyone, The warning carried multiple meanings. Robert Thompson lay diminished against white pillows, once commanding presence reduced to monitors and IV lines. His right side remained paralyzed, speech capabilities uncertain. The powerful deacon who had thrown Jason from his life now couldn't rise from bed unassisted. The symmetry felt hollow rather than victorious. That evening, Sarah invited them to the family home. Walking through the front door, Jason instinctively braced for impact, muscle memory from trauma's echo. The living room had been redecorated, family photos rearranged, some including Jason conspicuously returned to prominence. In the kitchen, Sarah prepared coffee with trembling hands. "I've been running a support group," she revealed hesitantly, "for parents with LGBTQ+ children, at the library, so the churches don't interfere." The admission stunned him. "After you left, I found myself researching, trying to understand, then helping others understand." She paused, guilt shadowing her features. "I should have stood up for you that night. My silence was its own kind of violence." Later, Uncle David arrived with his partner, Anthony, their relationship now cautiously acknowledged, though still navigating Selma's complicated acceptance. Lily completed their gathering, her medical expertise driving family decisions about Robert's care. The conversation flowed awkwardly around decade-old absences until David mentioned the church controversy. They wouldn't let Jason visit because he's not approved family, he explained. Frustration evident. The hospital chaplain blocked it until Dr. Matthews intervened. "Some things never change," Jason remarked bitterly. "But some things do," Lily countered, revealing a petition circulating among younger congregation members challenging visitation policies. "Your blog helped more people here than you know." That night, Sarah handed Jason a leather-bound book, Robert's personal journal begun after the stroke. The handwriting deteriorated across pages, but the content revealed unexpected depths. Robert had written, "Prayed for forgiveness today, not for Jason's sins as pastor advises, but for my own. The way I turned against my son. The pride that made me choose reputation over love." Another entry described dreams where he searched empty rooms calling Jason's name. Later passages referenced Private Sanders, confirming the email's implication of Robert's own complex sexual history buried beneath military discipline and religious fervor. The final entry before the stroke read simply, "I miss my son." Morning found Jason sitting beside his father's hospital bed, the journal between them. Robert's eyes opened, recognition flickering before confusion set in. His functioning hand trembled. Toward Jason, uncertain whether reaching for a connection or pushing away, the moment stretched between them, past and present colliding in sterile hospital light. True healing often begins where we least expect it, not in grand gestures of forgiveness, but in small acknowledgments of shared humanity. Sometimes we must witness another's vulnerability before we can fully understand our own strength. Recovery mapped itself in small victories across 3 weeks. Robert's first complete sentence, standing with assistance, the day he correctly named everyone in the room. Jason extended his San Francisco leave of absence, establishing temporary office hours at Selma Community Center, where clients, many secretly, sought his professional guidance. Michael returned briefly to California, handling their practice while maintaining video connection to this unfolding reconciliation. The family dinner marking Robert's hospital release highlighted the fragile equilibrium they'd established. Sarah prepared childhood favorites. Lily monitored medications. Uncle David and Anthony brought dessert from Montgomery's finest bakery. Robert, wheelchair-bound, but improving, watched Jason help set the table, occupying space he'd once violently banished him from. "Your husband seems nice," Robert offered unexpectedly, voice slurred but intentional. Not acceptance, not yet endorsement, but acknowledgement. The first step across previously impassable terrain. Later, alone in Robert's study, father and son faced each other without mediators. Robert's therapy-strengthened hand pushed an envelope across his desk. Inside, Jason found property deeds for a small abandoned church on Selma's east side. Community needs a youth center, Robert managed. Someplace safe. Why give this to me? Jason questioned, suspicion mingling with hope. Robert struggled to form words, frustration coloring his features before finding phrase, can't undo past, can help future. The following weeks transformed the deteriorating building. Local contractors, many remembering Jason from school, volunteered alongside LGBTQ+ allies from Birmingham and Montgomery. Sarah organized fundraisers through her now public support group. Lily coordinated medical resources. What began as Robert's gesture became community metamorphosis. Not everyone welcomed the change. Protest signs appeared outside construction. Anonymous calls threatened funding. Pastor Williams from First Baptist delivered thinly veiled sermon condemnations. Yet unexpected allies emerged. The Methodist minister offering furniture, former teammates providing security, teachers volunteering mentorship. Michael returned for the opening ceremony, standing beside Jason as rainbow ribbons were cut. News cameras captured diverse supporters gathered outside Selma's first LGBTQ+ youth resource center. The moment Jason had practiced most carefully, his speech acknowledging both progress and continuing challenges, dissolved into spontaneous emotion when an aide wheeled Robert Thompson toward the entrance. Silence fell across divided onlookers. Robert, still physically diminished but steel-eyed with determination, gestured for the microphone. His voice came haltingly. My son built something I couldn't destroy. The simple statement, broadcast across Alabama news that evening, cost him lifetime church membership, but began different conversations throughout Selma. The center's first month brought 37 youth through its doors, some homeless, others hiding, all seeking connection. Jason implemented trauma-informed programs, while Sarah facilitated parent meetings in back rooms where difficult questions found compassionate answers. Robert attended sporadically, more observer than participant, witnessing his son's professional capability with complicated pride. Final evening before returning to San Francisco, Jason discovered Robert alone on the family porch swing, a childhood place of former connection. Will you visit again? Robert asked, clearer now through continued therapy. Yes, Jason answered honestly. Not everything is fixed between us. Robert nodded. Family isn't fixed. Family is continuing. The Thompson home would never regain its perfect facade. Sarah's activism grew more vocal. Lily's medical practice welcomed LGBTQ+ patients explicitly. Uncle David brought Anthony to Sunday dinners. Robert attended Methodist services when health permitted. Bible study groups exploring previously unquestioned interpretations. Not utopia, not complete acceptance, but evolution, painful, authentic, ongoing, boarding their flight home. Michael squeezed Jason's hand as Selma disappeared beneath clouds. You once told me you could never go home again. I was wrong, but Jason replied. Sometimes home isn't a place you return to. It's something you rebuild together. Have you ever had to rebuild a relationship you thought was permanently broken, or found courage to create something positive from painful rejection? Share your story in the comments below. Subscribe to Heart Stories for more journeys of resilience, healing, and authentic connection, because sometimes the most powerful stories are the ones families are finally learning how to tell.